Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation. And as you can see on screen, we're doing a little cup. That's obvious. If you followed my season so far, then Little Cup's been obvious. However, we're in round 2 of the playoffs now. So I have a battle. we had a round 1 bye, so we didn't play last week. But I had a round 1 bye. The Evansville Dew-Waters had a round 1 bye, and the Portland Poliwags played against the St. Kilda Superiors. I uploaded that on Thanksgiving evening, and the E-Town Cavaliers played off against the Pittsburgh Primarinas, which also went up at noon on Thanksgiving. So here we are in round 2. Season 8, round 2, the semifinals, and we've got myself taking on the E-Town Cavaliers, who beat Pittsburgh last week and have moved on to a 5-3 record. And Evansville will host the Portland Poliwags, which actually aren't on screen. I don't think E-Town's on screen either. The Friday Harbor Zangoose top left screen has they left the season, and that's who Bronson actually filled in for after a week 1 loss. Spazzy Platt left, and then Bronson plugged in for him. Anyways, so this is where we're at now, and we have myself taking on Ginger, like I mentioned, and the Evansville Dew-Waters taking on the Portland Poliwags. So I wasn't able to record my game live, and I wasn't able to record AAA and Bronson's game live either. So I'm gonna have post-com here, a 2-part video right after this. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Alright, so the first game, obviously I'm going to be talking about my game. It happened first in chronological order. Anyway, so I'm not actually doing a team builder segment because I've got both of our squads on hand. I'm going to talk about both of our squads going into it because I like his prep, I like my prep too. So let's go ahead and hop into it. We've got a Protect, Fake Out, Faint, Knockoff, Life Orb, Adamant Meowth. I didn't mind the Bunnery being able to outspeed me, so I didn't mind to go Adamant. It gives me more damage output from both of my priority moves, Fake Out and Faint, and obviously Knockoff too. Knockoff's really cool. It gets rid of a lot of things, a lot of items that I don't want him to have. Berry Juice, Eviolite, whatever it may be. And yeah, that's really nice. Protect is there so that I can't be faked out by Bunnery or Chimchar or whatever it is, really. We have a Focus Sash Diglett with Protect as well for the same reason that Meowth has it. It gives me Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Rock Slide there for the Vullaby. We've got Smoochum. I had a little bit of trouble coming up with my Smoochum set. I thought about Choice Scarf, but Bronzor would always come in on a Psychic or an Ice Beam, and I would have to make a prediction on Shadow Ball. And then if he was like Berry or just Eviolite or something like that, could take it and then double out into his Bunnery or something like that, would put me in a bad position because I don't like switching into his team. He don't like switching into my team. So I felt like not locking myself in would be really nice. However, this could have gave me like a way to outpace, and like a Choice Scarf variant with Ice Beam could knock out the Vullaby. Could outpace it if it was Scarf as well. Could revenge kill a Jangmo-O if it sets up a Dragon Dance or something like that. So my last move on here is the Aurora Veil. So I went into this match thinking that I could click Aurora Veil and it would set up the Veil, and I could use Corphish to set up on his team. Unfortunately, and unknown to me, you have to have Hail set so that the Aura Veil even works. No, I didn't know that. Anyways, next up we've got a Life Orb Staryu with Protect. Same reason as Meowth and Diglett, so don't ask. I'm kidding. We're timid nature so that we can at least speed tie with Bunnery outpaced the Diglett, and unfortunately we can't outpace the Voltorb. But we've got Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Rapid Spin. I thought about running Surf, but then I was like, nah, I'll just put Rapid Spin on here in case you get rocks up. It's more important because I have Larvesta, and then Hydro Pump. I want to click that anyway. Surf doesn't do enough damage. And then we've got the Eviolite on our last two Pokemon, Larvesta and Corphish. We have Flame Body Corphish with a relaxed nature, very, very, very defensive. We're relaxed so that we're slower than the majority of his team. If he's slower than us, something's bad wrong. And we have 0 speed IVs as well. And when we get slow U-turns off of this bad boy, so I can bring Corphish in, Staryu in, and just click these hammering moves. And something I didn't mention about smooching. So if I can force in, if he comes in on an Ice Beam or a Psychic with his Bronzor, one of those two moves, well, if rocks are up, whether rocks are up or not actually, Ghostium Z, I have the Ghostium Z crystal, and we'll be able to click the Never Ending Nightmare to Oko Bronzor. So we've got Larvesta with U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Toxic, and Morning Sun. Toxic there for, I guess, Jangmo-O. Mostly there for the Volibee though. Like, if I can't 1v1 it, I want to Toxic it upon the switch in or something. And maybe force him to roost up, or Volibee's a problem. I thought about bringing Bonsly. As you can see on screen, I didn't, but I went through like multiple variations of this team. Mankey was on here, Bonsly was on here, Corphish was on here, Smoochum and Corphish wasn't on here, Larvesta wasn't on here, so on and so forth. Last but not least, we have a very, very, very bulky Corphish. An Impish Nature, 172 EVs in HP, 156 EVs in defense, the Eviolite, Adaptability, Impish Nature, Swords Dance, Waterfall, Aqua Jet, and Knockoff. So if I can get if I can get one Swords Dance up, I'll be okay. If I can get 2 Swords Dances up, I'll be in a phenomenal position, especially if the Jangmo-O is weakened and I have rocks up so that sashes aren't going to be a problem. I thought about running Protect on this thing so I could avoid Fake Out from Bunnery, and Chimchar, but I felt like, they could just have Mach Punch and Quick Attack respectively on the Chimchar and the Bunnery. So I felt like that was not too big of an issue. So the only thing I disagree with on my prep was bringing Aurora Veil, obviously. That was the cool part about my prep I was talking about, but it doesn't even work that way. So he's got a Volibee here, which is an Eviolite variant. Probably a switch into a lot of my Pokemon. He's got Knockoff, Roost, Brave Bird, and he packed the Tailwind on this bad boy, which is phenomenal. I love that. I think that's so cool. He's got a Choice Band Diglett, because if you didn't notice, my team does not have a ground resist. Choice Band Diglett at its speed tier is phenomenal. He even ran an Adamant Nature, Earthquake, Iron Head, Memento, and Aerial Ace. So Memento's even cool too, because it gives him a way to, if he has something in that he can't, if I have something in that he can't kill or something like that, he can Memento and use that for like Jangmo-O or like a Bunnery setup or something. Could be problematic. So next up, he's got the the Pokeball Voltorb with the Sugar Berry. He's got Hidden Power Ice, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and the Sucker Punch. I'm assuming he was hoping to EV his Voltorb so that it could hit Diglett upon switching with a Hidden Power Ice, and then Sucker Punch for the knockout. I'm assuming that's what he's going for there. Anyways, he's got a Life Orb Chimchar with, which is also Adamant Nature. So a lot of these non-max speed natures is pretty cool. Voltorb had a Timid Nature. It needed to outpace my whole squad outside of Diglett, and then Speed Type with Diglett. So Chimchar has Taunt, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, and Stealth Rock. So nice Stealth Rocker there. Pretty reliable because of its speed tier versus some Mons on my squad that would try to deter rocks. Outside of Corphish, obviously. Next up, he's got a Yachi Berry Jangmo-O with the Bulletproof ability. And then Dragon Dance, Outrage, Iron Head, and Rock Tomb with a Jolly Nature. So very, very threatening there. Don't want to let that thing set up. Then he's got the Bunnery, which is a Normalium Z Limber variant with the Adamant Nature. So he's got Quick Attack, Drain Punch, Facade, and Splash. Even have the Facade on there. Very nice tech. Z Splash, I think, puts him at like plus 2 or 3 attack or something like that. And then his Quick Attacks would be, just ripping through squads. He is actually quite PBF invested with just a little bit of defense investment and then max attack. So yeah, very cool squad on both sides in my opinion. And yeah, we can go ahead and hop into the battle now. Leading off here, hit a couple different things he could lead with. I felt like what I didn't want to happen was for Staryu to have a bad matchup. I mean, for if he led with Chimchar, Staryu had an amazing matchup versus everything except Voltorb, and I felt like he wouldn't lead Voltorb because I could lead Diglett for my Stealth Rocks because it's my only rocker. But he actually leads with the Voltorb here. So I'm going to scout him and see what he's actually going to go for here. He goes for the Volt Switch, so he may be locked in. I'm going to hard switch into Diglett, and he goes for the Volt Switch once again. So I've got him trapped here. I'm going to click that Earthquake as his Sugar Berry pops. And yeah, Sugar Berry pops, so he lives, and he's able to click the Hidden Power Ice. However, with my little bit of investment I had, I was able to live that and then knock him out with the Earthquake there. So he brings in the Bunnery to Revenge Kill. When he reveals Quick Attack, I figured he would have Fake Out, but the Quick Attack works just as well. I don't get a burn there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but like I mentioned, he had Facade anyway. So I'm going to U-turn out here. I get a critical hit there. It doesn't really matter. Fake Out into Feint knocked this bad boy out anyway, if Fake Out didn't knock it out from the range anyway. So yeah, he goes into his Volibee here, and I don't necessarily want anything to happen, and I don't want this thing to have an Eviolite or a Berry Juice. And I didn't want to put myself in a bad position by giving it like weak armor plus Berry Juice and like a Nasty Plot or anything like that. So I'm just going to click Knockoff, make sure it does lose its Berry Juice. Turns out it's an Eviolite variant and go straight for the Roost. And I'm going to see how much Feint does here. He actually goes for the Tailwind. I'm going to click Feint again. And while I don't disagree with my prep much outside of Aurora Veil, I do disagree with this series of plays. I should have went into my Corphish here. Reason being is because he still has Jangmo-O so high, and I'm more of a defensive variant. So even like +1, +2, my attack stat doesn't really matter because my speed stat, Jangmo-O will outspeed me, and Aqua just not going to do much to it. So here I should have went into Corphish, which I didn't do, which could potentially cost me. Yeah, what I needed was to keep Fake Out, keep Feint around, keep Protect around, but I don't. Misplay on my part. So yeah, don't like that. Anyways, I pick off the Volibee with Corphish, and then he brings in the Jangmo-O, and I know he's going to click Dragon Dance. I know it. And that's the reason I shouldn't have kept Corphish in the first place. I should have left. I should have went into Corphish hard, used Knockoff to knock off his item, instead of using Meowth to knock off his item, and then pretty much the same series of plays would have happened. He would have Tailwinded. He would have been faster than me. Which means he would have been able to knock me out. I would have got a little bit of chip on the Volibee. He would have knocked me out, and then I would have Revenge Killed him. Or had I knocked him out, and then he brought in the Jangmo-O after, as you can see here, I could hard switch into my Larvesta, and then I live this Rock Tomb because I'm very, 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 very bulky. Have you ever seen a Larvesta or a Volcarona live a physical attacking rock type move? I don't think I have. Anyways, I'm able to land the Toxic and waste a turn here. So, had this happened, I would still have my Corphish and my Meowth potentially. If Corphish knocked out the Volibee instead of Meowth dying to Volibee, you see what I'm saying? I would have potentially either knocked out Volibee with Corphish, or he would have knocked out my Corphish with his Volibee. And then I would have, so if he would have knocked me out with if his Volibee knocked me out, I wouldn't have went into anything that he could set up on me with. I would have went into Smooch him, knock out the Volibee, and then he would have to, knock me out with something else. And actually, Smooch him looks nasty in this matchup right now. Had this thing not gotten to +1, it really does. Wow, I could use the Never Ending Nightmare on the Diglett, the Ice Beam on this bad boy, and then I would have Psychic for the Bunnery. It's not super effective, but or I don't think Ice Beam is either, so I'd have to see which one has base higher damage output. Anyways, I would have had Meowth, so that's the biggest problem here. So I would have gotten this Toxic off, I would have lived his first hit, meaning he would have taken the first round of Toxic. He took the second round of Toxic. I could have went into Meowth here, and I could have clicked Fake Out, which would brought him down even further. But what I have to do is bait the Iron Head and then go into my Corphish. So as you can see right here, he would have been at 72% plus Fake Out damage from Meowth. On the following turn, I could Protect, and he would be even further down. I believe this is a 24% turn. And yeah, just having Meowth around would have been phenomenal right here, because I could have clicked Fake Out, could have clicked Protect, and then into Faint would have knocked him out. Would have been phenomenal. But yeah, keeping Corphish around was the biggest misplay of the game in my opinion. And he's going to be able to, he's not going to be able to knock me out here. Dies the Toxic, thankfully, but he is able to revenge kill me with Bunnering. I could have switched out into Staryu here, but with Life Orb damage, he could have potentially 2-hit KO'd me here. I'm going to try to get a critical hit here. That's what I needed since he was max PBF. However, if he wasn't max PBF, I would have been able to knock him out here, and actually Staryu would have cleaned this matchup. But as you can see, he's going to reveal to be very, very, very PBF and knock me out with the Breakneck Blitz. So very, very cool game. A little bit disappointed about my plays with Corphish. I should have definitely played around the Volibee different. Not necessarily my plays with Corphish, but saving it. Like, I should have preserved Meowth. Meowth was the team captain. He was the team captain of the season. He's been phenomenal all season. He hasn't been brought much as of late, but he's still team captain. He helps me decide what I'm going to do every week. Should have definitely kept him around. And it's a little bit unfortunate. There's also some other things that it's kind of my fault. Well, I guess misplaying is my fault too. But when I was calcing the outrage on Jangmo-O, my Corphish did not die. I still don't understand that this battle was almost a week ago, and I still don't understand how Jangmo-O was able to knock out my Corphish. Like I mentioned, I was Impish Nature. I was Eviolite. I had 172 EVs in HP, and I had quite a bit of defense investment. I think 156 EVs in defense, where Jangmo-O couldn't knock me out at +1 and needed like a Draco Plate, but my opponent revealed Yachi Berry, so I'm not real sure. But yeah, it's going to be a good game to Ginger. He's going to move on to the finals, and we're going to jump straight into the other semifinals match. It happened today. Our battle happened like 3-4 days ago, 5 days ago or something. I'm not real sure. And then, yeah, Bronson and AAA played this morning, on Thanksgiving morning, actually. And I was able to catch the post-coms. Well, I was able to record it. I'm able to record it and post-com, so we'll hop into that. All right, so we've got the Evansville Dew Waters taking on the Portland Poliwags in the other brackets of the semifinals for the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 8, where we've taken on a Little Cup role this season. So the Evansville Dew Waters have an entire roster consisting of Fungus, Ponyard, Dewpider, Magby, Oshawott, Baltoy, Zubat, Tyrant, Stuffle, and Cleffa. And the Portland Poliwags have a squad of Mienfoo, Chinchou, Feral Seed, Bunnelby, which he picked up going into the playoffs, Chingling, Dwebble, Electrike, Purloin, Noibat, and the Fampy. So both of these squads have Pokemon that have terrorized the league. Dwebble and Tyrant both have brought these two Pokemon to the match. I missed this game live. Well, I didn't miss it live, but I couldn't record it live at the time. I was doing some Thanksgiving festivities of the morning, and I was about 10 minutes late to catching it live. I could have maybe caught the last few plays, which was actually, we'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, so going into the match, Dwebble has a knockout faint ratio of 19 to 5, and Tyrant has one of 16 to 4. Incredible. And then Mienfoo and Ponyard are both up there at like 7 knockouts apiece, or close to that, or anything, or anyway. Excuse me. So yeah, AAA coach of the Evansville Dew Waters, by the way. He's got the Oshawott, the Ponyard, Tyrant, Fungus, Baltoy, and the Stuffle. I've been calling Ponyard Bisharp all day, so if you hear me say that, I'm sorry about that. Dwebble, Mienfoo, Chinchou, Electrike, Noibat, and the Fampy. So very, very cool squads, and excited to see what both of them bring. However, or I guess without further ado, is what I should say. Let's go ahead and hop into the replays, see what's going to happen here. So Bronson's going to lead with his Electrike, and AAA actually misclicks and leads with his Tyrant. So that was actually a big turn one. However, I don't think much would have changed. I think it would have went like this right here, or he could have potentially got his Stealth Rocks up with the Ball Toy on turn one, predicting the switch. However, Noibat takes out the Ball Toy with a Specs Draco Meteor, and then the Electrike comes in only to be put to sleep against the Fungus, which was pretty much expected. But this thing could have like Sleep Talk with Volt Switch or something just for momentum, as after Ball Toy's gone, there's no ground type. So it gets a huge crit here. It's not going to matter. It looks like 35% is going to be its range. So it would have been a 3-hit KO anyway, and the Electrike does not get a third turn wake up. So that's pretty big. So in comes the Noibat, and this thing's already been confirmed choice specs by the damage it did on the Ball Toy, being able to Oko it from that range after the flamethrower damage from Electrike. So yeah, Fungus here probably drops to a Specs Draco Meteor depending on the set. So he's actually going to pull a switch out, and he's going to go into his Poniard, and he's going to catch a big Heat Wave, a Choice Specs Heat Wave, which might have been the better move versus the Fungus, and catches the Poniard on the switch in. So AAA falls behind in the game, and he brings in his Oshawott here to bait in the Chinchou, and then, well, maybe not to bait in the Chinchou specifically, but that's what does come in, is the Chinchou. And he doubles out into his Stuffle here, and he's able to throw off a huge attack here if he wants to. He throws a powerful return off. Does way over half, 75%, 76% actually, to the Mienfoo, which reveals to be a a Life Orb variant. Goes for the high jump kick and lands, but misses the following Stone Edge to be put to sleep. So I don't think the Stone Edge would have knocked out the Fungus, but it would have obviously left it low and maybe prevented Regenerator shenanigans. But yeah, he does put the Mienfoo to sleep, and this thing's going to reveal to not have Rest Talk either. So he's just going to be chipped off here by an Oshawott. So that's pretty nice. Goes for the Aqua Jet there. I don't think it's revealed any moves yet. It came in, it doubled out, and then it came in and picked the Mienfoo off with the Aqua Jet. An electric type move's pretty obvious here, so a switch into Fungus is likely. And yeah, Bronson's going to go for the Thunderbolt, get a little bit of chip damage off, and then reveal the Z Ice Beam, the Sub-Zero Slammer, and he's going to take out the Fungus there. And in comes the Tyrant, the monster, the Tyrant of the league. Goes for the Dragon Dance, and he stays in and goes for the Thunderbolt there, which kind of struck me odd. But I knew he must have had a plan here. I thought this thing actually got sturdy, but I checked and it actually don't get sturdy. So I thought maybe Choice Scarf, but does that even outspeed? And he's going to go for the Outrage. He's locked into it here, and this thing reveals to be a Sash variant. And yeah, lives on the Sash and then able to pick off the Tyrant with a super effective Earthquake. However, Oshawott comes in, claims one, and this thing is choice banded, and Noibat's going to miss the Specs Draco Meteor, which probably knocked the Oshawott out, and is going to be 4 times weak to the incoming choice banded Ice Beam, choice banded Ice Beam, choice banded Ice Beam. Let that sink in, and drops. So now Dwebble's here. Dwebble came in second for the MVP race this season. #1 offensive Pokemon of the season, and the #2 placing MVP. He's been crit on his Electrike with a Giga Drain. He's missed a Stone Edge, and he just missed a Draco Meteor, which looks like it could seal his fate here. He brings in the Dwebble, goes for the Shell Smash, takes over half from the Ice Beam. His Berry Juice pops. AAA switches into the Stuffle here, and it looks like it's going to be able to wall this Dwebble. What does this Dwebble have that can hit the Stuffle super effectively? Probably nothing. And all the stuff. So it looks like Rock Slide does 24%, so it could mostly do 24% roughly. Again, say 25%, and it brought him down to 50. He breaks the Sturdy with Frustration, or even a Fighting type move. Both are Oh, I guess frustration is actually resisted. So fighting type would be neutral. So that's probably the likely move he would go for here. And maybe even Drain Punch if it gets it or something like that. However, Dwebble doesn't have much to hit this with. His best play, if he doesn't have coverage for the Stuffle, is to actually go for a Rock Slide flinch to be able to pick this thing off. And he's actually going to go for the Rock Slide, and he does get the flinch, which is wild on its own. He gets the Earthquake, reveals the Earthquake to knock him out. And now if he can knock this Oshawott out in one hit, then the Portland Poliwags are going to take this game back. However, if he does not, at minus defense with the Choice Band Aqua Jet, it will be able to 2-hit KO. And let's see what he goes for here. He goes for the Aqua Jet. He does reveal to be sturdy once again. He didn't actually reveal it when he popped his berry juice, but he does reveal sturdy. Lives on 5%, and he's able to connect his last Rock Slide to pick up a 1-0 victory, and Dwebble showing why exactly it was in the race for the MVP. Bronson's going to be able to pick up the semifinals victory. The flinch was unfortunate, but so was the crit and both misses. I think the biggest moment was missing the Draco Meteor. I think he could, I don't think the crit mattered that much, and the Stone Edge miss, I guess it could have got some chip on Fungus, but like I said, there could have been regenerator shenanigans, or it force your hand to go into something earlier or something like that. And yeah, that's going to be it. Dwebble's going to take more lives. It's going to end up being 21-5 heading into the finals. And he's going to be taking on the E-Town Escavaliers, coached by Ginger. Just beat me in the semifinals as well. A little bit aggravated about that still. Not that I lost, but how I lost. The process of which cost me. Anyways, Ginger played phenomenally, and he's played great all season too. And he's got the MVP, Voleby, going into the finals. So we've got Voleby facing off against Dwebble, Ginger facing off against Bronson, and the E-Town Escavaliers facing off against the Portland Poliwags for the Iwata Cup, the 8th Iwata Cup in the Pokemon Battle Federation. So look out for that. Of course, I will try to catch that live and upload that. I wasn't able to catch mine and Ginger's battle live either, hence the postcom. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So let me know what you thought about both battles. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.